it was announced. And of course was turned as the favorite, had to overcome a ton of adversity in this race. And oh, trouble! London McKenzie at the top of turn 4 has brought it to a stop and will set us up for quite the finish here with 11 laps to go.
And the brilliant double debut for the young driver, London McKenzie. It's going to unravel a little bit here towards the tail end, and it looks as though that right rear did not make it the rest of the distance. It is down on the rim, and his inability to get to the bottom of the racetrack into the pit lane safely is what will draw caution number 4 with 12 laps to go.
I think if you're London McKenzie, though, you hold your head up high walking out of this racetrack here tonight. Such a great effort he had in the Pro Late Model race, and especially late in this race, being able to keep up with a lot of these drivers. This may have been a problem that continued accumulating in terms of the right rear tire that he was struggling with, but hats off to him. Showed great, and don't think it's the last we'll see of him up front in Cars Tour Racing.
So that caution gives us a chance to kind of reset the field. So Caden Quapple from 29th on the grid up to and around our pole sitter, Lee Pulliam, the race leader. Plus 28 on the field for Caden, who had to fall back on a provisional to make the field. Pulliam second, Chad McCumbee third, who's been in the top 3 all night long. Carson Lofton, who's charged from 17th to 4th. And Clay Jones, who is charged from 20th to the top 5. A lot of comers and goers throughout this field, and all of which are well represented amongst that top 5, and it continues to roll on from there. Doug Barnes Jr. started 14th, he's 6th. Landon Huffman started 18th, he's 7th. Landon S. Huffman started shotgun on the field, 30th, he's 8th. Mason Diaz rolled off 27th, he's 9th. And Donovan Strauss, who started 15th, is running 10th. In what has been a crazy season opener here at Southern National so far.
This is the season opener for the Cars Tour, Southern National Speedway, and just watching the race, this has been unbelievable.
Speed has translated less to race
I thought I'd film some of it that I'm watching if y'all don't know much about the Cars Tour well. Here's some film from me, y'all can see it.
It doesn't seem like we get all that much anymore with this series, because these drivers, these teams, they've gotten so good with this platform as long as they've been working on it. They've found a way, whether it's through their setup, through the difference in tires we've had over the years, all of those things. It seems like it's so difficult to do, to drive from the back to the front of a Cars Tour race, and yet you look at your top 10, it's made up of both drivers who started back in row 15
tonight,
at the tail end of the field.
I will have some videos from the Supercross race at Daytona.
They pointed out a couple of cars as things went on, including the 41 of Mason Diaz, who's driven up into the top 10. The race leader, the 88 of Caden Quapple. Doug Barnes Jr., who was in the top 3 until he kind of got muscled aside and fell back a little bit. It's been pretty interesting to hear some of the spotters and crew chiefs who have been watching the stopwatch and also watching the on-track product and pinpoint who they think were going to be the threats and contenders at this point in the race, because, as you said, the ebb and flow of all this, not something we typically see every week. The style of racing and the close proximity to racing, that's something we see every week. The pluses and minuses across where drivers start and where they run right now, wild.
And awesome. Can't wait to see how the last 11 laps play out. Again, next up for the ZMAX Cars Tour, Wake County, a month from today. Going to be a little bit of a time for us to debrief, take a breath after what's going to be an incredible finish, I'm sure, before venturing off to new territory for the Cars Tour, the Nashville Fairgrounds. I cannot wait to get out to Music City. That's going to be awesome. I know Late Model Stock Cars, they put on spectacular racing at that track. That's going to be a fun one. Can't wait for it.
And Wake County, we said this last year when that race got moved up to the early portion of the season, because it used to be a kind of a midsummer, end of summer type of event. I love the fact that we go to a quarter-mile bull ring as our second race of the season. Let's let a little bit of emotions kind of build up and bubble up and fester and last throughout the year. Oh, by the way, it's also going to be the final event of this round of the Floatium. So there's going to be 5 figures on the line for the top 6 drivers in this race going to a quarter-mile bull ring. You can't ask for anything better than that.
And that top 6 is gonna shuffle around a little bit with some of the takers we've seen on the top line. Carson Lofton was just recently named to Flow Racing's top 20 under 20 list. He clocked in at number 18, Rookie of the Year, defending Rookie of the Year, I should say. And he is back here and now on the front row, just as he did a year ago at Coastal Plains, trying to get a top 5 finish starting from the rear of the field. Caden Quapple, Carson Lofton, young talent up at the front. 11 laps to settle the Folsom Fit Supply 125. And I think Pulliam knows he's got to give a little bit of contact there to the 88 to try to keep him attached. They go into turn 3. Quapple with the advantage. Pulliam leaning into him. Quapple able to drive away.
Well, perhaps Pulliam was going to try to get a little bit physical to see if he can get that 88 car up off the bottom, but it did not work. As now it is Quapple, the leader. Pulliam second. McCumbee trying to get back to third. Doug Barnes Jr. back up into the top 5. Looking for fourth on Carson Lofton.
I tell you what, if Doug Barnes Jr. did not get held up, I wonder if he would be close to or leading this field. He dropped all the way outside of the top 10 in just a handful of laps. He's back here up in the top 4. What an impressive effort from him to stay with it late in this race, and he may have a couple of spots that he can get in these final 9 laps.
Some of the dive bombs and attempts to protect the bottom are getting out of control, like Diaz, who gets spun off the bumper of Parker Eatman. Connor Jones goes around, and there is caution number 5.
This will be the end of this one.
Just talking about how well Mason Diaz had charged.